It's a lovely good evening, and thank you so much for tuning in to Ubuntu channel this particular evening. I am your host, Professor Lance, for this particular evening, and we would love to appreciate you for taking time to be a part of this evening's broadcast. But we sincerely apologize for bringing the program 13 minutes late. This is due to some unforeseen circumstances. Of course, dubbed Meet Your Leaders. Now, on today's program, as it was advertised, we were supposed to have engineer Charles Kaisala, but we also unreservedly apologize that he was unable to be part of the show this evening due to some unforeseen circumstances as well. And of course, we were also supposed to have Green Party President Peter Sinkamba also to be part of the show, but he couldn't be able to be with us this particular evening. But however, the show must continue despite our guests not being a part of. But do make a date with us tomorrow, as we will definitely bring them in so that you can have those your juicy questions, your burning questions that you have for them, and get to find out little things that you need to find out from them. And of course, today's topic is the fuel situation in Zambia. This is what we are talking about. So, Engineer Charles Kaisala is coming through from the UPND. He is in the committee that deals with the energy. So he was supposed to come and talk on this particular platform with that particular portfolio as the UPND committee member of energy. So that is our topic right there. Fuel situation in Zambia. Remember, you can easily be part of the show by simply commenting or by simply sending your comments through the commentary box, either via Facebook or via YouTube. We'll be happy and glad you to be a part of us, and of course share your different sentiments, your different comments pertaining the fuel situation in Zambia. Now we know that obviously the EERB had announced earlier this year, when we started the year 2022, they announced to the nation to say that fuel will now be there will be monthly reviews with the fuel situation in the country, and we have seen them very consistent from January, February, March, and of course just March when it ended, they did the review, and we saw the upward adjustment of fuel. Now, reasons are very simple and very easy. This is due to the geopolitical tension which is happening between Russia and Ukraine. It is a known fact and a known truth to say that this war has really closed so many opportunities for different countries and different people. It's not only Zambia that is going through this situation. Just yesterday, we saw a top 5 African countries that have the highest fuel prices in Africa due to what is pertaining in Russia. And we are so lucky that Zambia, we are actually on number 5, because Zimbabwe is the country that is leading. So now imagine if you live in Zimbabwe, obviously fuel is high there, the situation is worse. When we go to Nigeria, the situation is even far much worse. Despite Nigeria being an oil producing country, we have seen them also having difficulties with the issues to do with fuel. For them, it's even worse because we have seen the country going through or having serious fuel shortages. We have seen the country experiencing cars, being packed at different fueling stations for 3 or 4 nights. So the situation in Zambia is a bit better than these other African countries, but we would still love to hear your thoughts right here on this very show. Would love to know what you think can be the best solution to deal with the current fuel situation. Remember that these monthly reviews, we have to also wait for April to see if fuel will go up or definitely will go down. Now, in a situation like this, you are a motorist. You are a general citizen that gets on public transport, that gets on a bus, on a taxi for you to access different parts of town, maybe going for work, running some other errands, or running these other different issues. How has this fuel situation affected you? You are a marketeer out there that depends on hand to mouth, and you also maybe get to transport your goods using transport. How, using the transport sector, how has this affected your business? All right, we would love you to come through, be part of the program, and share with us so that we can be able to also hear it from you, to hear it from the horse's mouth. Of course, would love to know how this is really affecting you. Now, we know that fuel is the engine of every economy. It is the main driver of an economy of a particular country. And with this increment, what do we expect? Do we expect production to go up of different goods? And do we expect also services to be there, in abundance? Can we have that? Can we experience such? Okay, so these are the few questions, or these are the little things that we are looking at this particular evening. Now, for those of you that are just tuning in, like we said, or like I started with the program, we unreservedly apologize for, first of all, starting the program a bit late, 13 minutes late. And also, we apologize that we are unable to bring our guest today, as we had advertised that we'll have engineer Charles Kaisala, who is coming through from the UPND Energy Committee. He is a member, and of course, he was supposed to explain to us what this means, talking about the fuel situation in the country. Plus, also we were supposed to have Peter Sinkamba, the president of Green Party. We apologize that he is unable to come through today, but we rest assure you that tomorrow at 21 hours, right on this very channel, we'll be able to bring these people so that they can get to explain to us in a professional manner, in a professional way, so that we can be able to understand and also get to look at the way forward if we are to survive this, and what other plans should be put in place to see to it that things get to move as they are supposed to move. So I invite you, the general public out there, people that are watching us from different parts of town, I invite you, let us have this particular chat right now, this evening. Let's get to talk about the fuel situation, the fuel issue in the country. How is it affecting you? You might be a businessman, you might be running a big company, you might be an entrepreneur. How is the fuel situation affecting you? You might be obviously a small business runner, or a small business holder, an SME, and we would love to hear also from you how the fuel situation also is affecting you. Not forgetting the very important stakeholders in all these, the public, people that board on public transport. Obviously, the increase of fuel, we have seen an increase in the transport sector. As we saw last week, we saw RATSA announcing the new prices of different routes. So for those that in local routes, Lusaka, obviously, if we say from town to Mutendere, ngati mwenzo lipira 15 kwacha, pamanje banaikako katu kwacha, mulipira 17 kwacha, ngati from Mrs. kufika mtauni mwenzo lipira 8 kwacha, pamanje mulipira 10 kwacha, chifika banaikako katu kwacha kaja. So how is this affecting you as a general citizen out there, as our public member? Then, not forgetting, of course, talking about people that are driving. How is this also affecting you? Because we know that time and again, motorists are mostly the ones that are considered to always make a comment when fuel goes up, because these are the people that buy fuel, and these are the people maybe that get to drive the economy because of them moving up and about with their vehicles. So, how has this affected you? Have you stopped driving your 2.5 liters Pajero? Mabwerera mukavitsi ka 0.5 liters or what. So share with us how you are coping up with the fuel situation in the country. We would love to hear from you. We would love you, obviously, to be a part of the program, and just be there to tell us things that are there. So for now, let's get to take a very short break, and then when we come back, we will be able to get through and obviously read your comments and get to talk to other people that can share with us their situation. All right. So as we are waiting for our breather, of course, let's get back, to discussing our issue, what we are talking about. We would really, really, really love you to be a part of the program. Please don't forget to share the link with your friends, share the link with your family, and share the link so that each and everybody can become a big part of the Ubuntu family. Of course, Ubuntu is for you, or this channel is here for you because I am, because you are. If you are not there, then I cannot be here. That's what Ubuntu is all about. So let's get to support one another. And in that support, make sure that you share the link. Make sure that you invite people to like our Facebook page, which is Ubuntu channel, and invite your other friends to also get to subscribe to our YouTube channel. But hey, do not only subscribe, but the best that you can also do is hit the bell so that every time we are live, you can be notified to say, hey, Ubuntu channel is live. Hi, Fred. Good to know that you are tuned in. Good evening out there watching from DK. All right, good to know that you are tuned in, and thank you so much for taking time to be a part of this show. Pamela, watching from Livingston, great topic. Some of us can't even go to the village. It's too expensive. We'll see our relatives in paradise. Okay. I saw a meme about this, Pamela. When fares were increased, especially when Ratsa mentioned or brought out that fare chart to say intercity or intertown fares should be increased by 15%. Obviously, we saw other routes exaggerating the fare charts or the fare prices from one place to the other. And the one that I recall is from where you are, Pamela, in Livingston. From Livingston to, is it Nakonde? It should be something like 705 kwacha. And I saw somebody joking like, ish, I think Ambuya somuzabwerako ku chikwati changa kairi apa. I think nge time cheni ngakwatire sinzakwanisa kutuma sinzakwanisa kutuma 705 kwacha kuti mubwerere ku chikwati ya cheni kwatira, then napobwerera futi mufuna futi 705 nipobwerera simuzabwerera cheso chenu mufuna kugulirani kugulirani. So yeah, how is it affecting you? What impact does it also have, Pamela? I think that is very cardinal. What kind of an impact does it have on the family, especially those that love traveling, those that love seeing their relatives from time and again? All right, so Fred comes back and says fuel is a global crisis, and it is about time we all adjust in our lifestyle. All right. Watching from Lusaka, go Ubuntu team. Josephine, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being part of the program. And of course, good to know that many people are tuning in and are finding time to be a part of the program this particular evening. Hi, Laura. Good evening. And of course, yes, what kind of an impact does it have for you? if you would love to go and visit your family, munajaira kuti every year at least mufunka mwenda mwaonako ambuya, mwenda mwaonako wadadi, mwenda mwaonako vandani. Of course, how is this affecting you? The increase in fuel prices. And of course, come through. Remember, come through. Just very simple. Send us your comment right there. Send us your comment and be part of the program. All right. So my co-host is here. Hi. Good evening, Charlie. How you doing? Okay. So as we are waiting for Charlie, I'm sure this is supposed to be
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing all right. Thank you. Mm. All right. So obviously, we'll be able to speak or talk to Charlie as he
Mm.
comes in on.
I love the way you were bringing up the topic, the way you were I love the way you were you made you made the groundwork for the topic today.
Mm.
Hello, are you able to get
Yes,
me?
yes, Charlie, I can get you. You can go ahead, Charlie. I can get you.
Are you able to get me? Yes.
Yes,
I
I
think
can
that
get you. I can get you
actually,
loud and clear.
all right, all right. Yeah, I was saying that the price of fuel is actually the price of petrol is actually at 20 quarter 15. Okay. Yeah, I was just trying to talk about the price of petrol, which is at 26 quarter 15 way, which is quite very, very high. And each time fuel is increased, it means that all the other commodities uh, in and it also shows that maybe as a country we've not really done our homework that much. And it is, I think, for this reason that we really need to get back to the drawing board, back to the basics, and see how we are going to ensure that we have enough fuel that can help us to run this country. Because otherwise, each time fuel is increased, it means each, each and every thing that is consumed uh, in the country also goes up, because the cost of transport goes up, meaning that the cost of production in the country basically goes up. And it is for this reason that I strongly feel that there is always a need for for the fuel for the fuel that is petrol, diesel, and the kerosene to always be subsidized, because when these three things are actually increased, then it means the cost of production of any goods in the country is actually going to go up, because the people that transporting bananas from one farm to the other, they will also increase. People that producing bread, they will also increase, and just like that, it just becomes unbearable for the people, because they will no longer be living. They will be living below a dollar. So that actually puts in a lot of stress on on the ordinary Zambians, or on the ordinary uh, people, as we might have just seen. And just this afternoon, when I was knocking off, there was a woman who was complaining to me, saying that if the impending fuel increase goes up, it means to end up now be working work. What do you think, Lance? Would you would you work for work? Lance, are you going to be working to work? Well, when
Oh, that is a serious question. If I would be working, but um, looking at the situation, I think we just have to adjust. In fact, it's high time that most of us stop trying to live a luxurious life which we cannot afford. The problem that I have with my fellow Zambians is the fact that we try to live a life which we cannot afford. We try to fake life, okay, because of maybe different aspects, maybe because of social media influence, because I have a friend that seems to be doing fine. I have a friend, maybe a childhood friend, or maybe a friend from school who seems to have made it before me. So I try to fake a life and maybe live that life which is not even fit, that I cannot manage to live. So I think it's high time that we get to adjust. And apart from adjusting, it's high time that we get truthful with ourselves and say, hey, when things are tough, the tough needs to get going. Okay, what do I mean by this? If your salary is not relative with the expenditure that you want to spend, make sure that you make them relative. Better still, as you make them relative, make sure that you also have a little that you can also keep and save, because you have to take note that you have a family. So it's high time that people get to start adapting to the current situation. Fuel situation in Zambia, or this fuel situation, is more like here to stay. It will not go anytime soon, not until when this geopolitical tension ends in Russia. That's the only time. In Russia and Ukraine, I think that's the only time that we'll be able to say, hey, I think now we are safe and this we can do. But let's get another contribution coming through from one of our viewers, Gladys. All right. So, hi Gladys, how you doing?
Good evening, Lance. How are you doing? I'm doing great. And
I'm doing fine, thank you.
yes, thank you for bringing up this topic of fuel. I know that fuel is a global crisis. I mean, we can feel it out here. By the way, I'm calling from Denmark. We can feel it out here. And I know that it's very difficult to just suddenly have some change And we are very adamant as humans when it comes to changing our lifestyles. I know that, Lance, you've just been asked if you would start walking. I think it's about time you start thinking of walking halfway to your work so that you can save that money. Otherwise, your pay slip will just be going like through the numbers and said, where did my money go? So to start with, well, as much as we can keep on complaining, it's going to take a while. We've seen that we've been hit by coronavirus worldwide, and we've been hit by the war in the Western world, and so then the fuel also shot just a skyrocket, which is very difficult to adjust because it's not only the Zambian market which are able to control the fuel prices, but the people up there, they are able to control the fuel prices. But even the people who are controlling the countries which are controlling the fuel prices are also affected. And when fuel prices are affected, everything is affected. So it's about time we just sit back and relax that manna is going to fall from heaven. It's about time we have to adjust when it comes to when we go to work by our luxurious Mercedes-Benz with a very big tanks. Maybe we should think of starting investing our monies into a bicycle and ride a bicycle to and from work. And I know our mentality is, if I look at you, Lance, going to work in a suit with your laptop bag on a bicycle, I'll be like, atibala bomba. Nakabagi na mpanjinga. Well, in the Western world, as much as we are having problems worldwide, which is affecting everybody, we have to also fight the climate change. So we have to change ourselves, and we have to start changing and strategize and start using at least a greener way, which is the bicycle itself, because then we are also saving lives at the same time. Sorry, I'm talking too much. And then if I come back to the marketeers as well, when you go to the market, you find that the tomatoes are very expensive. And then market, they will be like, mami na imwe weekend pwemba sela tinankane awe dollar na ikwela. That's just the normal common language. Dollar na ikwela, regardless whether they haven't seen that dollar. Well, I mean, they are using their common sense, because dollar na ikwela, it's because for them to go to those orders, kuma market, kuma posa, or wherever it is, they need to transport their goods to come and sell to the markets. They need to pay somebody to get their goods from the truck. So what do you expect? They are not using water, they are using fuel. So fuel is affecting every little thing. So we have to start adjusting. If we eat 3 times, maybe we have to adjust also, trying to cut down the portions of food. We also have to adjust. If we eat 3 times, maybe we should try and gatwachiria bread luchelo na ngukandolo luchelo imo, then at least we are not running on an empty stomach. Aka subana kena limbi tuachitako skip. We walk quite a lot and then have a decent meal in the evening. Even though I know out there, most of the people, they don't know even what they are going to eat the next day. Thank you, Laz. I'll come back if I think of something else. Thank you and sorry for taking too long.
So of course it's good to be back, and Gladys, thank you so much for that contribution, and really couldn't really add more right there. But hey, remember, this is not only my chat and Charlie's chat, but also it is your chat. Get to come through, be part of the program by simply sending a message via our comment box on Facebook. This is Ubuntu channel, and of course, if you are watching from YouTube, you can also be able to send us your comment from there. Jonathan says, good evening. Good evening, Jonathan. I hope you are doing well. So Jonathan continues and says the trickle down effect of fuel increase has had a massive effect on the ordinary Zambian, not just in terms of transportation, but also basic commodities have skyrocketed. Jonathan, thank you so much for that contribution. Melinda Banda on our YouTube says, good evening. Good evening to you too. Good to know that you are watching this particular broadcast. In case you have just tuned in, we are talking about the fuel situation in Zambia. So Jonathan says, my question is, how does a common person in the compound like Kanyama, Garden, Mtendere, or Kashikishi get to adjust when they live on less than $1 a day? I submit. All right, Jonathan, I may not be an expert to answer this, but in my best knowledge, let me maybe be able to say this. I don't think it's possible for somebody that is living below $1 to adjust. Impossibilities are there. Here we can just simply say that these people continue living below $1. Yes, we know that food prices have gone high, and definitely the volume of kasala dikajakawan kwacha ngati yenze ni kakulu, so obviously apa kachepako kali so definitely adjusting means they would have to try and survive on that. All right, so Carol says, well said, Gladys. Fuel konsefye na ikosa and it will be okay. Definitely it will be okay. All right, so the fuel situation in Zambia is what we are discussing right here. How has it affected you? Obviously it has affected different sectors in different ways, and we are talking about a person who lives in abject poverty. When we talk about abject poverty, we are talking about a person who is living below $1, and below $1 today at the close of day, a dollar to kwacha was trading at 18. So if somebody every day is living below $1, which is 18 kwacha, then obviously we'll just have to say that they have to try their best. The government has said, be resilient. The president has promised to say things will be better, but for now, be resilient, because we did not foresee this happening. Therefore, we are doing things we know which are not favorable, or things which might not make us popular, but we are still trying our best to see to it that you, our people, get to live the kind of life that you are supposed to live. So it's all about being resilient. It's all about making sure that we stay steadfast and give hope to the government that definitely there are certain things and measures that they are putting into place to see to it that the situation gets back to normal, and many other things get like that. All right, so just a few days ago, I think maybe also responding to Chimpindi, a few days ago, JCTR obviously mentioned to say that the food basket for a household has increased from 9,305 kwacha 38 ngwe to 9,658 kwacha 28 ngwe in a month. Now, we know that we have people that are not getting paid all that amount of money, and it can't happen maybe for other people to manage to live, to get themselves out of the abject poverty. And they are saying that the only solution that can be there is the reintroduction of subsidies. So that might be a solution, but is that solution a short-term solution or a long-term solution? So the government is looking into all that. They do not just want to make short-term solutions, which yes, today they make you happy, and then tomorrow, um, and then tomorrow she all right, and then tomorrow obviously the things don't get better. So government is putting in place so many measures, and yeah, is putting in so many measures to see to it that things get to be better. But hey, in case you have just tuned in, this is Meet Your Leader, and today on this particular platform, we are talking about the situation, the fuel situation in the country. We are talking about how has it affected you? How is it affecting you? You might be a marketeer out there. How is the fuel situation affecting you? Increase of different goods and commodities. How is it affecting you? Are you a bus driver? Are you a daily commuter? Are you somebody that is owning a vehicle? How is that affecting you? All right, so let's get to see if we can get a contribution from Laura. All right, Laura, hi, good evening. Are you there? Laura, good evening. Can you kindly unmute your mic? All right. So, of course, as we are waiting for that, you can also be part of the program. It's very easy and very simple. Just make sure that you you comment, whichever platform that you are using to watch us from. Make sure that you just comment from there, and we'll be able to read your comment loud and clear right here. Share with us, obviously, how this fuel situation has affected you. All right. So, Freehead says, Jonathan, I think it is time we start putting a small garden at the back of your yard. It is not easy, but it will sort one or two problems. Some of it you sell it. All right, thank you, Freehead. Obviously, this is answering what Jonathan was asking to say, or what, how can somebody living below $1 get to adjust? So at least that is one of the way. Then so she continues and says, does Zambia have a backup plan for the crisis? All right, so Zambia, yes, does have a backup plan since we heard the president saying, for now, be resilient as your government is working. So definitely for the president to come out like that and give us that assurance, then there should be a backup plan out of this crisis. But however, what we shouldn't forget is that it's only 7 months. In fact, we've now clocked 8 months that this government has just been in power, and unfortunately they had to be hit with this crisis. And don't forget, it is not only this fuel crisis which is there. We still have the COVID-19 pandemic. All right, that is another crisis that the government is battling. And just yesterday, the health minister announced to the nation that the country in Mtendere recorded one cholera case. So cholera also is there's an outbreak of cholera. So the government as well has to get ready to prepare for that. Look at get to put in measures that will see to it that cholera does not spread. So government is seriously overwhelmed with a lot of things, a lot of issues that are coming out. So I'm sure there should be a backup plan that it has to get out of this crisis. Thank you so much, Fred, for that particular question. All right, so we can still get back to you being part of the program. Now, the rise in price in the commodities of price, yes, of commodities, obviously, yes, it is facilitated by the increase in fuel prices. But also, let's not forget that the increase in fuel prices do not only bring about increase in these goods and services, but it also brings about productivity levels. How much, or what kind of levels are we going to see or have in the production sector? Because if fuel is high, then definitely it means that companies that depend on fuel to produce whatever goods that they produce, they have to increase the budget that they have to allocate for buying of fuel so that they can increase productivity in their industries. Then how does this also trickle down? What kind of an effect does it have on the workers that are working at that particular company or at that particular refinery, or whatever that they are producing? So if the company has to increase fuel allocation for productivity to be there, then it means that it's going to be a bit hard to see an increase in maybe salaries for people that are working there, because maybe what was supposed to be channeled to them gets to go to the fuel. So there are so many effects and so many factors that the increase of fuel gets to come with. Remember, we are still getting your comments, we are still getting your views on this topic. How has the fuel situation affected you as an individual who is trading in different trades, or who is having different things? So we're talking about a marketeer, we are talking about a motorist, we are talking about a daily commuter, and also we are talking about somebody that is living in abject poverty. How has this fuel situation really affected you? So for now, let's take a short break, and then when we come back, we continue having this chat. All right, so Meet Your Leader is today's program that we have this evening. And of course, let's get to see if we can get Laura back on the program. Laura, hi, good evening. Kindly unmute your mic. Hi, Laura, are you there? Okay, so as we know, okay, hi, Laura. Laura, can you get me?
Yes, I. So my contribution, I'll try to be as quick as possible because I'm losing connection here and there. So my contribution as to this fuel crisis that we're going in Zambia, the prevailing situation in Zambia is that as Zambians, we are
Okay, we seem to have lost Laura there. All right, so Laura,
supposed to. So a person like me, as I understand.
You can go ahead, Laura. Okay, so it looks like we're still having network challenges right there, but we'll be glad to get Laura back. Let's get to see if we can get Nyachisengu right there to come through and be part of the program. Right, so Nyachisengu, are you there? Good evening.
Good evening, Professor Lance. How are you doing? I've just, I just decided to come in and support you. I don't really know what you're talking about. See if I can contribute anything.
All right, so we are talking about the fuel issue back here in Zambia.
In Zambia, okay. Yeah, that's a simple one. It's very simple. And for me, the way I look at the fuel issue in Zambia, it's not only a countrywide problem, it's a problem all over the world. I'm living in Canada right now, and the price of gas here is as high as it is in Zambia, right? I can give you a really good example. I drive a tank. I call it a tank. I drive a Toyota Sequoia. It's actually much larger than the Toyota Land Cruiser, and I have to pay a lot of money for me to fuel the tank, my vehicle. So Zambia does not have any oil rigs for it to be able to go and dig any oil. We don't have any oil reserves in Zambia for us to say oil should be cheaper than which part of the world. I was supposed to be traveling to Ireland from Canada. The prices have pretty much doubled. Okay, that's how expensive the fuel is. The prices for everything have doubled. It's not just Zambia whose prices have doubled. Get me, please. I hope the people of Zambia are getting me right. Anybody that's fooling themselves and saying the fuel in Zambia should be cheaper, are they digging it out of the wells in Zambia, or is it coming from, unless they're buying it from Angola? If we can buy the fuel within Africa, maybe we can say, well, it might be cheaper. Or where does the fuel come from? Here in Saskatchewan, in Canada, we've got oil rigs all over the place. But like President Biden said, this is going to be a worldwide problem. Not only is fuel going to be expensive, we're going to also see food becoming very expensive very soon. And yes, the war in Ukraine has caused a lot of this. I can tell you that right now. Because all of us are stopping, like Canada right now, the US, most of the countries are going to stop buying their fuel from Russia because of the war in Ukraine. You know what I mean? So yes, it is going to be expensive. If people are going to complain, well, they can complain today. They will still complain tomorrow because the prices will still continue going up as long as we in Zambia don't have any fuel. I'm sorry, but that's a disappointment. And that's a fact.
All right, Nyakisengu, thank you so much for coming through and making that clarification.
No problem. Thank you so much. Have a great evening.
All right, thank you. So that's what is pertaining right there. So Fred comes through and says, we have seen a video which was circulating on social media about an entrepreneur who is trying to make fuel out of old tires. Has that been followed up? Could be a term solution. All right. Okay. Yeah. So thank you so much, Fred. And then Pamela says we need to sort out our social security for the most vulnerable. Njala doesn't know the word resilience. It's just your callers. Okay. All right. Jonathan says it is also important to note that in the case of Zambia, it's not just the Ukraine war which has rather affected us, but also the debt crisis has also played a role in that aspect. Please try to delve in on that as well. All right, Jonathan, thank you so much. We'll definitely put that into consideration. And thank you for the feedback which is coming through. All right, so fuel situation in Zambia, how has it affected you? And of course, previously had Nyakisengu who says actually this is not only in Zambia, but it's global. And trust me, everybody now, including I think a 5-year-old baby or boy, girl, would be able to tell you that they know about the war in Russia and Ukraine, and that's where we are getting our fuel from. So meaning that we have to make sure that we get to comprehend with that, or we get to deal with that until when that geopolitical tension in Russia and Ukraine ends. Then only then will we see maybe a stabilization in the prices of fuel. Let's get to see if I can get Charlie back. He is my evening's co-host, and obviously we apologize due to bad network. He's been coming in and going out, but it's really good to have him. Charlie, welcome back. Charlie, you can unmute your mic. All right, we'll still get Charlie right there, but still continue coming through via our comments box, our comment section. We really appreciate and value your contribution, and also we really appreciate the fact that you yeah, we really appreciate the fact that you have taken time out to be part of this broadcast. So Laura was saying that we need to support the government. Okay, yeah, we need to support the government by not vandalizing whatever investments they are putting in place for us. That way we will get to see the benefits of the interventions. All right, thank you so much, Laura, for that. And for those of you that have just tuned in, Ubuntu channel is definitely for you. Do not feel left out because on this channel chinyanja mungasebenzese ichibemba kuti mwabomfya ichitonga kuti mwamba magani. In Lozi, you can express yourself in Lozi. Unfortunately, I can't speak Lozi, but I can understand. So that's why you haven't heard me saying something in Lozi. Then be free, be yourself, because we want you to be who you are. Like I said at the beginning, Ubuntu channel is about I am because we are. All right, I am because we are. Without you, there is no me. Without me, there is no you. So we exist because I exist because you are there. All right, we all about being together. We all about helping one another in one or two things. And also still apologizing for the fact that we couldn't have our guest this particular evening, but please be rest assured the questions that you have asked will be channeled to them, because they are the experts, and we'll be able to have them tomorrow at 21 hours right on this very channel. We'll be able to engage them, talk to them, and so that they can make us understand the different questions that you have asked. They have been taken note of. So our one of our guests is Engineer Charles Kaisala. He is a member of the UPND Energy Committee, and apart from that, also we'll be able to have the political party president Peter Sinkamba of the Green Party. He will also be a part of us tomorrow as we get to explain more or dissect more on this topical issue, on this topic, talking about the fuel situation in the country. How has it affected you? How does it affect the economy? How does it affect the running of business? How does it affect the general citizen? How does it affect a marketeer that depends on her business, which is hand to mouth? How does it affect also a bus conductor that does not draw a salary, but only simply lives at the mercy of the bus driver? How does it affect a commuter who gets on the bus every day simply because vaikirako fare prices vaikirako 2 kwacha, vaikirako 5 kwacha, vaikirako 15%? How does it affect you? Nkanya mitengo or volume ya saladi sankara bwanji kawan kwacha kasankara nkang'ono bwanji. We know the people that depend on salad ya 1 kwacha. There are people that depend on salad ya 5 kwacha. How has this affected them? Of course, it's been great, it's been awesome, and really appreciate your support, your love. We love you, and we would also love to tell you that be a part of us tomorrow at 21 hours as we bring this show again. Remember, tomorrow our guests will be available at exactly 21 hours. We will be here to make sure that we get to talk to our guests and they share their expertise on the topic. I have been your host, Professor Lance. Of course, it's good evening.